yes, go on.
Right. Now, EMP has an awful habit of destroying the microcircuits that are used in modern communications equipment.
Yes.
Now, the thing is that the government, in its wisdom, or it may just be in its meanness, in fact, has failed to replace equipment which already exists for short-range radio communications from various bunkers to other bunkers throughout the country. And it still contains, in fact, all valve-operated equipment. And I think more by accident than by good management, in fact, our radio communication system is unlikely to break down in the event of nuclear war.
That sounds interesting.
That's number one.
Being last in the line seems to pay off sometimes.
Yeah. Number two is,
Go on.
you had a gentleman also wanted to know why you apparently stayed where you were, or went with the train when you jumped up and down. You had somebody respond to that by saying that it was Einstein's theory of relativity that explained this.
Which I don't think it is, but
It
go on.
isn't. It's actually forces of moments.
Ah, that's it! Forces of movement!
Which is basically...
Got it! Thank you very much.
That's all right. It's, which, of course, is just basically momentum.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you very much. Ta-ra.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ra. It's very complicated tonight, is it? How do, Dave?
Yeah, all right, Alan.
Yes?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about public toilets.
What's stopping you?
Oh, yeah, where I live, there's a public toilet.
Looking for somewhere new to visit? Then why not come to Lancaster? Set in beautiful landscape parkland, the newly restored Ashton Memorial, the grandest monument in England, with an exhibition viewing gallery and an outstanding audiovisual display, the Edwardians. Enjoy the spectacular views of Morecambe Bay and explore the finest butterfly house in England. It's a truly memorable day not to be forgotten. Also, don't forget to visit the new Maritime Museum on St George's Quay. Phone Lancaster 33318 now for details.
Have you got a Red Rose Radio 7-Up car sticker in your car? If not, get one now, as we're giving away £5 a day, Monday to Friday, throughout July, August and September to owners of cars seen with one of these stickers. To get your car sticker, send a stamped addressed envelope to Red Rose Radio Promotions, P.O. Box 301 Preston, and tune into Red Rose Radio to see if your car's been spotted. This promotion is run in association with Red Rose Kitchens of Moorebrook Street, Preston.
From Teledisc comes the Shadows Silver Album. This exclusive double album celebrates over 25 years of continuing success, featuring the Shadows as they are today. Admire the sheer virtuosity of the theme from The Deer Hunter, Classical Gas, and Don't Cry For Me Argentina, as you enjoy the sound that influenced a generation. Appreciate over 90 minutes of musical mastery and remarkable craftsmanship on 2 superb records or double play cassette. Shadows Silver Album is $8.99 including postage and packing, and is not available in the shops. So to order, ring us now on 051 708 7676. That number again, 051 708 7676.
This Saturday from 9 till 12, the chart of Lancashire's favourites will be played on Lancashire's favourite station, the Red Rose Top 40 on Red Rose Radio, in association with Red Rose Kitchens of Moorebrook Street, Preston, manufacturers of quality fitted kitchens and the #1 kitchen for your home. The chart is compiled by computer every week from sales throughout the Northwest. Catch the Top 40 this Saturday at 9 a.m. and discover which song's been made #1 by you.
Red Rose Kitchens, always the #1 for your home.
Hello, Jean.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
I'm ringing about a lady that rang up earlier on about making a will.
Yes.
Yes, well, I made one last week.
Good on you.
Yeah.
You can die happy now.
I'm sorry, I didn't include you because I thought you had enough.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. There's no such thing.
No, I'll just tell it. It costs £7.25, a £15 for drawing up the will, and £2.25 for VAT.
That's for a simple will at your solicitor. It's
Yes, at the solicitors, yes.
Yeah, what I'm saying is not all solicitors charge the same amount, and not all wills are the same. If it's a simple will, that sounds about right to me also.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, even on making a will, it's classed as a luxury still to pay VAT.
Oh, yes, you have to pay VAT. And good heavens, you can't have VAT when people are dying. You have to pay it on funerals as well.
I know that.
All right,
Nice
love.
to talk to you, Alan. I've been trying for a long while to get through to you.
Well, now you have.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. How do, Martin?
There was a man who bought a cat. He fed it well, it got so fat. He had to stroke it with a broom, and when it purred, it shook the room. One day outside, a dog it saw. The cat went up to shake a paw. The dog just gave a frightful pant. He thought it was an elephant. Hold on, there's more. Eating, it couldn't stop. Growing, till it went pop. How's that, Alan?
It's
different.
Different, that's the word. I knew there was a word that covered it. That's the one. Different.
Has your technics got variable speed?
Not variable, no, just the three of them.
Oh, what's that, 33, 45 and 78?
No, 1, 2 and 3. Of course it's 33, 45 and 78.
I know, but it might be 33 and a third, actually.
Why would we have variable speed?
Because when you fade one record into another, to keep the beat at the same rate, it keeps the rhythm going. If you know what I mean.
Well, we don't do that sort of thing.
I know, but I don't suppose use that studio all the time. Does nobody else use it?
Well, I don't use it all the time, but this is the main studio, but the other studio that we occasionally use is identical to this one.
Yeah, but I think another DJ might, use it for that purpose.
Well, he might, but not on this station he won't.
Oh,
Sounds like the kind of thing Richard Serling had concerned himself about. Not I, sir.
What kind of record deck have you got, Alan?
They've just told you it's here.
No, I mean, at home.
Oh, God alone knows.
Ah.
A Browning.
Well, I wondered if you've ever tried listening to a Lynn Sondek.
A what?
A Lynn Sondek. I suppose there's many listeners out there who's heard of one of them.
I don't know anything about this. When I need to buy something to put on my system, I go to a guy called Norman at a shop called Norman Audio in Preston and say, "What have I got to do, Norman?" And he tells me.
That's the easy way, I'm sure.
That's the only way I know.
I spoke to Norman myself, and
he's a good lad. He knows his stuff.
He does for sure, and he's recommended Lynn gear to me.
Has he? Well,
and he don't even sell it, so that's all right of him, isn't it?
It must be good gear.
Oh, right, it is. That's
I know nothing.
Yeah, well,
I can't be doing all these woofers and tweeters and all that. It's not worth the effort as far as I'm concerned, but some like it, I suppose.
Well, if you've not heard it, then you don't know if it's worth the effort or not, do you?
Well, I've heard some good stuff. I mean, whenever I go into Norman's, he always gets all his latest gear out and I have to listen to it. And I mean, you humour the lad, don't you? But I can't tell the damn difference. It's just,
Oh, all right then. He's all right, is Norman, anyway.
Good lad, good shot, good lad. Thank you very much. Ta-ra. How do, Shane?
Hello, Alan.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about epilepsy.
Go on.
For me. About 2 weeks ago, our family went on holiday with another family down the road. Now, their son suffers from epilepsy, and until then, I wasn't aware of that fact. Now, we go fishing, me and this lad. He's 13 years old, and I'm 17, right? And I was going fishing, and he fell off the rocks, and I wasn't there at the time. He fell off the rocks, had the fit, and went into the sea, Now, I didn't see him doing this, so I couldn't really, go in and save him, Now, some fella who we'd passed a while ago, going fishing, had to jump into the sea and save this lad, my mate. Now, when we got home again, when we got back, we got a list off this fella who'd saved him, back to the caravan. And their family sort of put the blame onto me for not really taking full responsibility over him. Now, do you reckon that's right or not? Do you reckon I should?
Very clearly, you could not have taken responsibility if you were not aware. So the family is either very distressed and therefore making irrational judgments, or they're thick. Well, it's one or the other, isn't it? How you can expect an individual such as yourself to take responsibility for another individual because of some condition that they suffer when you're not aware of that condition, I really do not know.
Yeah.
They cannot expect that. And so it's a totally irrational expectation.
Right, thanks, Alan.
It's all right. How do David? No, David. We shall talk to Simon next.
Please listen to my ditty. It may not be very witty, nor even slightly funny, but it will help save you money. For me, from cradle to grave, I aim to shop and save. I buy out I need, for next to nought indeed. There's meat and veg and cheese and pigs and booze and clothes and cards and sweets and pigs and pet food and household things. So shop and save a load down Blackpool's Waterloo Road. In the market they call New, and Overt Road the M2. Thank you. Poetry in prices from the New Market and M2 Market.
It's the place to come, where shopping can be fun. The Newmarket Waterloo Road.
Whether you're considering a Citroen, Lada or Ford for E-Day on August the 1st, give the rest the big E for John Wilding. Right now, John Wilding is getting all excited by offering truly exceptional deals on all 3 of these makes, along with extremely low finance on selected models. You're always guaranteed John Wilding's excellent after-sales service too, and exceedingly generous part exchange allowances. So see how easy John Wilding makes buying E-Reg cars with Citroen and Lada at Banbury Garage, Westgate Morecambe, and Ford on the A6 Gar Stand.
It's back to school with Slater's for massive stocks of school uniforms at low, low prices. Why pay through the nose when Slater's stock the lot? Fully lined washable blazers from $11.99, school shirts from $2.99, trousers and skirts from $4.99, and ties and socks from 69 pence. More choice and lowest prices at Slater's. Branches at Preston, Wigan, Ashton in Makerfield, Lee, Bolton, St Helens and Warrington. Make sure your child goes back to school with Slater's.
How do Simon?
Hello. I want to talk about Ian before he was going on about parties. I want to make the point that surely, a party is for getting laid, like you were saying. I don't think it is for a social evening, talking about... Thatcher, Reagan government policies. I think it's for getting laid is the whole point in a party.
Especially if it's a party for chickens. How do Margaret?
Hello, Alan. I wanted to speak to you about my husband's graduated pension. I'm a widow. Widowed for 2 years.
I might as well say to you, Margaret, I know nothing about graduated pension except that when I retire, I will be entitled to, I think it's 6 old pence a week.
Oh, it's just it's the coding, the tax coding. Now, when April the 1st came up, I was on to
Margaret, I don't know, Margaret.
Oh.
Honestly, I know nothing about that kind of thing.
Dear.
Not my department.
Oh.
What I suggest you do is go to your nearest Citizens Advice Bureau because they'll have all the details on file.
I rang Liverpool. I'm supposed to be, they're dealing with me, you see, and I rang Liverpool.
Liverpool what? Liverpool's a big place,
Bootle.
Yeah, what? Well, Bootle's quite a big place too. What are you talking about?
Well, it
Bootle?
was the tax place.
Oh, you rang the tax office?
Yeah.
Fine. Yes.
At Bootle. And, I was a bit horrified.
Margaret, all I can suggest you do is get proper advice. Go to your nearest Citizens Advice Bureau and talk to them about it.
Oh.
All right, I'm sorry, but I know nothing about it.
Anyway, let me finish on this note, Alan. When I was widowed 2 years ago, you helped me a great deal.
Well, thank you for that. All right, love.
Listen to me first. I'll listen to your programme.
Well, compliments I'm not really very interested in.
Well, it's not compliments, love. It isn't compliments. It's just that I've got a right repartee with you.
Well, I'm glad to hear
your
it.
programme.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good night. How do Pauline?
Hello, Alan.
Yes.
I'm on about Myra Inley and Ian Brady.
What do you want to say about them?
Well, I'm just saying that I think they should be locked up forever.
Well, they are.
They are?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that?
I think they are too.
You think they should be?
I think they will be. I'm not sure. I think, in my view, we should reserve judgment.
You think they should? You should. Because what I'm saying to you, Alan, now, I'm going to put you on the spot a bit, right? And it's not soften your spot, right? Are you listening?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. It's not something you put on
Yeah,
the spot.
just give us your
but
point.
when anybody says to you about criminals,
I have trouble with that one as well. Go on.
Yeah, being put in jail.
Yes.
You always say, what we after? Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you? Is
Go
that
on.
true?
Go on.
Is that true?
I have said that on occasions.
You have said it a lot of occasions,
Yes.
Alan. Yes.
But you said I always say it, and...
No, I said on a lot of occasions.
Well, what you actually said, Pauline, was always.
Well, I'll
we'll
say,
settle
all
for
right
the
then,
change. Go on.
I'll refute that, or whatever you want to say, but
Yes,
I'll
go
say
on,
on a lot
go
of
on.
occasions, Alan.
Yes.
And a lot, a hell of a lot.
Yeah, Pauline, would you like to address your question? You were going to put me on the spot at the moment. You
I'm
put me
putting
to
you on
sleep.
spot. The spot is on almost every occasion you have been spoke to about criminals. You have said that society
Yeah, we
is
already...
after... You know
Pauline,
what I'm going to say.
Pauline, I don't know what you're going to
You
say, but
do know,
I do know, Pauline, that what you've said,
Don't
and you're
cut me
about...
off,
Pauline,
Alan.
shut up. You're about to repeat it again. Will you get to your point or get off?
Right. Almost every occasion...
Yeah,
when
you've
you-
told me that, Pauline. I've heard you say that about 30 times. Will you not tell me what the bloody next bit is, you
Right.
daft old biddy?
You say what society after? Revenge.
Yeah, well, bugger me, that's what you've said 31 times now.
Well, I've said it again. And
Right.
what did you say in tonight's advertising?
What
and
did I
I'll
say in
read it
tonight's
to
advertiser?
you. Hang on. Are you listening? And don't cut me down. Don't cut me off, Alan. Please do not cut me off.
Don't be so repetitive. Get on with your point.
Right.
I have the
You are
advertiser in front
repetitive. I'm
of you.
not. Now,
You don't even know what
But
repetitive
surely-
means, it would seem.
You are. I do know what
Well, get on with
repetitive
it, woman.
means.
Get on with it, woman. I've got the paper here. Get on with
Don't
it.
shout at me.
Well, get on with it, everyone! Bloody night! You have 10 seconds
Right.
to start your
Right,
point.
shut up then.
You now
You
have
don't listen.
7.
You don't
You now
listen.
have 5.
But surely it is not acceptable to return offenders to society before the society has had its full revenge.
Indeed.
Well, so what's different, Alan?
Well, I don't see any difference, to be honest.
I see a lot of different. Now you're going
You
to
tell
cut
me
me
then.
off now,
No,
aren't
why
you?
should I cut you off? Tell me about it.
Because you'll be awfully annoyed.
Why will I be annoyed?
Because-
Let me ask you whether you've heard of something
What?
ever in your life.
What?
Have
I'm
you
not sick.
Well, I have no argument with that.
You
other
think
other than the-
everybody is so... You think everybody that phones you is simple.
Shut up again, will you? please?
No! Why should I shut up? I'm not sick,
Because,
Alan.
well, you may well not be thick, but you're very noisy, very repetitive, very
Well, you're
bo-
very noisy.
very
and very
repetitive, very repetitive.
You're very repetitive.
Shut up now!
You've said that 4 times.
Shut up
then.
now!
And you
Shut up now!
Your audience
Shut up
deserves
now!
to repeat
Shut up
repetitive.
now! Shut up now!
I've got 7
Shut
times.
up, you daft old cow, and listen!
Right, 8 times
Listen,
you said
you
shut up
daft
now.
old cow!
You've said shut up now 8 times and nobody spoke to you.
Well, who is it then?
Is that not repetitive?
Who is it then?
Is that not repetitive,
Who is it then? Are you
Alan?
listening? Are you some kind of imbecilic cretin?
Are
woman?
you?
No.
Well, somebody is.
I was about to ask you a question. If you speak again before I give you permission to do so, this conversation will terminate and I will go on to the next caller.
Right.
You've spoken.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. You
What
said,
did I
shut
say?
up now.
No, what did I say most recently?
I don't know.
Then
All
shut
I
your
heard-
mouth and listen, you daft cow.
I'm not a cow.
Shut up!
I am not.
Good night. You are. We have all the evidence. You are a silly old biddy. You are also drunk, and your friends in the background are impressed, but they also think you're a stupid old cow. And they're right as well. Good night. How do, Robert? Goodbye, silly. How do, Rod?
It's Roderick, actually, but...
We care not what it is. Rod's what I've got. Rod's what you're answered to. If you want to swap it, ring back with another one. But right now, you're Rod, so get on with it.
Right, okay, then. What gives the local authorities the God-given right to erect
If it's a
shrubberies,
shut
whatever
up and
they like?
listen. If it's a God-given right, then inevitably God must give it. A God-given right must be a right given by God. Self-explanatory. Good night to another cretin. I'll do line 8. Amy.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, Amy.
I was listening to your show like, quite a little while ago.
My show is a programme. Go on.
Okay, then your programme. And it was saying about slugs.
Yes.
Something you might like to know that I went downstairs after listening to that and made myself a cup of coffee and trod on a lovely big, juicy, slimy slug. And so I got the salt out the cupboard, poured it over the salt, sat there, and I watched it melt away, and all its gusking pouring out. It was lovely, you know.
Was it?
Yeah.
You should have had a butty with it.
Fed it to the dog.
You fed it to the dog?
Yeah.
Salt's bad for dogs. How do, Mike?
Hello, Al.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about blood sports and the royal family.
Go on.
Well, I think the royal family are big hypocrites when there's a lot of them involved with the World Wildlife Fund, and then they go to...
Well, hold it a minute. There aren't a lot of them.
Well,
one of them is.
Is it Prince Philip?
That's the chappie.
Well, he's the head of it, isn't he? And then
Yes.
they all go off to Scotland and shoot stags and...
Well, I don't think he goes on stag hunts, to be honest.
Well, members of the royal family...
Well, he can't be held responsible for what other members of the royal family does. He is responsible for only what he does.
Well, if one of them steps out of line, then it's well known that they're put right, isn't it? So
No, it's not well known that they're put right at all, and if they are put right at all, it won't be by Philip.
Well, don't you think it's a bit hypocritical of the...
It is hypocritical for anybody to say that they disapprove of something and then go ahead and do it, but you haven't yet suggested that that is happening. What you have suggested is that Prince Philip is, and you're accurate in this, the president of the World Wildlife Fund, and then you've said that other members of the royal family go and shoot stags. That is not hypocritical. The royal family hasn't an attitude of its own. Each individual within the royal family, I suspect, have their attitudes. But if I do something that is against your morals, that doesn't make you a hypocrite, does it?
No.
Good. How do Simon?
Go on.
Yes.
I'd like to know if you could help me get in contact with some organisation that helps to assist people to emigrate to Australia.
Other than the various Friends organisations, no. I don't think they do have assisted passage to Australia anymore. They used to, they don't anymore. But certainly in terms of the travel arrangements, then any good travel agent will assist you. I was actually talking to David Norton, my apologies, David, who is the man that organises National Travel World, and he's just come back from Australia, so they have good contacts. But any travel agent will be able to assist you with the travel arrangements. The emigration thing, you're going to have to talk to Australia House, of which there is one in Manchester.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the immigration papers to come back from Australia House. I have heard, though, that there is an organisation called Friends of Australia.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, I don't know how to get in contact with them, though, you see.
I don't know either, but I'm trying to think where I've read it. If you read the personal columns of some of the Sunday newspapers, there are occasionally adverts in there. But I don't know that Friends of Australia are actually the people that help you travelling out there, or help to assist you with travelling. What therefore, if I remember correctly, are they put all the relatives in touch with one another.
Yeah, I believe what they do is they charter a plane themselves, and then anybody that wants to go to Australia specifically to...
Yeah, that's specifically to see relatives and friends and all that.
I
yes.
see.
Those organisations definitely exist, and they definitely advertise in the travel sections of, well, generally, the national newspapers. I've seen them on a Sunday.
Well, I hope if anybody's listening out there and they know of any organisation, they'll ring in and let you know for me, please.
All right, well, it's 1:45. There isn't much time, but Preston 561,000 if anyone knows of one.
Thanks
The trouble is, we're not in a position to let them give the address out or the phone number, so it might be difficult. So try a Sunday newspaper anyway.
Right, OK.
Thank you very much. How do Jim?
Hello there,
Yeah.
Actually, it was, I want to phone up for is your comment you made the other night over Yanks Go Home, you know, in terms of that American chap. Did you not think that was racist?
Yeah.
Well, it's out of order, isn't it? You know, there is laws about racism.
Well, fine. Get all the cops.
You know, I have no intention of, but I find it strange that when it's directed at white people, nothing's done about it. But it's directed at black people.
I am
a lot of fun
racist.
about it.
I am racist, like all sorts of other people are racist, and what we said in that occasion was actually said in jest, but that doesn't change the situation that it was
No, it
racial
doesn't,
jest.
not at all, no.
But there is a tradition, a constant tradition in our country, I would say almost a bonhomie tradition of Yanks go home. They call us limeys, we call them Yanks, and we've been arguing the toss for generations. So I don't actually see that it is in that way offensive.
Well, yeah, I'll go along with that argument.
No,
Do you not
fine.
think that also traditionally people do not want immigrants in this country, black people? Traditionally,
I don't think there is such a tradition that is surrounded in bonhomie. I think it's part of the fun of our nation that we have arguments with the Australians, we have arguments with the Yanks, and even to a certain extent with the French. I don't think it is a tradition of fun having arguments in those sort of terms with the nations that we have treated imperially in the past.
but getting down to the basic law, what you said was racist.
I
If
said
it would
that.
have been
I said
directed
that.
at West Indians,
It was
it would have been racist.
It was
Somebody would have
racist.
kicked up about it.
It was racist. Full stop. There is no if
Yeah.
it was directed at.
Yeah.
It was racist. I don't deny it, and I wouldn't deny it. As far as I'm concerned, it was said in jest.
Yeah,
They take it or
quite
leave it,
agree.
like everything else I say. People
Quite
take it or
agree.
leave it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things said in jest about, should we say, brown people,
Yes.
and it's taken completely out of context.
Well, I'm not
blown
sure. You
up
see,
out of all
I
proportion.
actually perceive the distinction. The Americans are unlikely to be grossly offended by that remark because similar remarks are made in their country about us over there. It is a tradition. It is a tradition of humour. It is part of the relationship of the two nations.
Mm-hmm. Are you inferring that brown people are maybe less intelligent and can
No, I don't.
take this?
No, I'm not inferring that at all. I am saying that the wounds inflicted by this nation upon what you define as the brown people are still open wounds, and there is not yet the opportunity for those wounds to be picked at. The wounds in America, the Boston Tea Party and all that, are well healed. Very well healed, and I don't mean they've got a lot of money. I mean well healed in the sense of they are now totally
When
repaired.
was the date of the Boston Tea
It isn't a matter of dates, it's a matter of what has happened since.
Well,
At
yeah.
this moment, if you, in this country, or indeed any other country in the Western world, if you refer to an individual as a, I don't know, a nigger, for example, or
which
a
is not
coon.
offensive, but is derived
Well,
from
listen,
Negro
listen,
down south, by the way.
listen. Doesn't matter where it's
Yeah.
derived from. It actually comes originally from the River Niger. If we're going to get really pedantic about it, but if you use that terminology,
I must beg to differ over
well,
the,
you can
where it
beg
comes from.
all you like, but put your begging bowl down for the moment
Yeah.
and listen. If you use that term is accepted as offensive by a large section of that particular community. The same applies to the term Paki. That term, despite the fact it is merely an abbreviation of
Yeah.
Pakistani,
Yeah.
is regarded as offensive by the people who you're addressing or referring to.
Mhm.
Now, if you're using terms that are offensive, then you are being offensive, even if it is not your interest. The way I, all due respect, now you're picking on the Jews.
No, yeah, thank you. All due respect, the way you said it, the manner in which you said it, if I was American, I could feel offended.
Well, you
If
could,
I
yes.
was of low intelligence.
Of course you could. Well, in that case you would have been.
Yes, exactly. We do call Irish
You
paddies
didn't even understand that.
and
Eh?
Scotch jocks,
Yeah.
and they do not get offensive.
Mm.
They do
Well,
not take offence.
again, some do.
You know.
Some do.
But I thought, I personally think that the race relations, or whatever you call the act, I don't know, seems to be one-way traffic.
Well, no, it isn't. You are saying, or the race relations, the objective of the Race Relations Act was to protect abused minorities from that abuse. Well, you can't describe the Americans as an abused minority.
Current Affairs says the opposite, actually.
Well, Current Affairs doesn't say the opposite. Current Affairs says they have been the abuser. An abusing majority rather than an abused minority, I would say. But if you're caught with your hand in the till and somebody calls you a thief, you're not abused.
Mm-hmm.
You're just being described accurately. So if somebody says that the Americans are an imperialist nation run by a lunatic, well, they can be offended, but they're not being abused. Statement of the truth isn't supposed to be abuse.
I'll go along with that.
Okay, well, you've gone along with a lot, so now go along. I'll do to John.
Hello.
Yep.
I think you're a complete and utter prat.
Good. I'll do whoever's on line 1. Oh, another John. Hello, John.
I'd like to talk about charity. How to do something for charity. I've got a handicapped mate. Well, my mate has got an handicapped sister. Alan?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't think he was there then.
Well, I am.
I want to know how to do something to raise money to send her to Lourdes. And like my mate's mum's asked a social worker, and a social worker's told her asked me to ring you. He said that you knew all about how to go about it. Red Rose. Like.
Well, I don't know how to go about it.
Well,
why don't you go on a sponsored something or other? Everybody else seems to be doing so.
Well, I was thinking about the parachute jump, man.
Then go ahead and do it.
So you've no advice for me, right?
None whatsoever.
Okay. Thanks
Okay.
very much.
Cheers. How do Lynn? Hello, Lynn?
Hello?
Yes? What do you want? Turn your radio off, Lynn.
I haven't got radio on.
Somebody has.
Is radio off? Yeah, what I'm calling about, Alan, is you've just had I presume a young lady from Leah. Yeah?
How do you know he's from Leah?
Because they said...
Turn your radio off, Lynn.
Is radio off?
Goodbye, Lynn. How do Matthew?
Hello, Alan.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about the DHSS, please.
Go on.
I left work about a month ago, and I went down to sign on at the dole office, and I signed on every Monday every fortnight, and I did this for a month, and I weren't getting any money through. So I complained, and they sent me down to different houses, Padderborn House and so forth, and give me a load of more forms to fill out, and I've still not had any money. I'm living off nothing. I'd just like to know how they think we should live off what we're earning now.
When you were paid, how were you paid? Weekly or monthly?
I was paid weekly at work.
And did you receive more than 1 week's pay when you left?
Yes, I did. It was a week and 2 days because I finished on the Tuesday.
Yeah. What I suggest you do then is the same as I suggest to many other people in your situation, and that is go to your nearest welfare rights officer or Citizens Advice Bureau and ask them to explain the system to you, or alternatively to phone the DHS and find out what's going on for you. Jean.
Hello, Alan.
Yes.
I just can't understand how people can object to the Duke and Duchess of York accepting animal skins, and then other people phone up and talk about killing innocent little slugs in the garden. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is that there are different people doing the ringing.
Yeah, but why kill anything?
Why indeed, but I must admit that I occasionally am required to move slugs from my garden to a place
I
where...
have a lovely garden. The slugs make quite a meal of my French marigolds.
Oh, good Lord.
But...
Do they smell of garlic?
Just because they're horrible little slugs doesn't mean to say they have to be killed. They're still little creatures like everything else.
Well, I try not to kill them, but they're very difficult to move to somewhere else.
Yes, I do
They just
know
come
that.
back, so it gets to be a bit of a bind.
I'm well
afraid
aware of that.
My savage partner in life is not quite as moralistic as I am these things, and he's perfectly happy to splatter them all over the place.
Oh, what a shame.
Wicked woman.
I mean, I don't like slugs. They make my stomach crawl, but...
Well, I've not actually tasted one, I must admit.
But I still don't see why people can object to killing stags and foxes, and I've no objection to killing slugs. They're all creatures. We're all
Mixed
seven.
sensitivities. All right, love.
Okay,
That's a nice point. I'll do to... Oh, where's he gone? Line 6. Who is it? I'll do Brian, our final caller this evening. I'll do Brian. What do you want?
It's about that shooting.
What shooting?
You know, on Bickley for security.
Well, there's been a number of those. Which one are you referring to?
The latest one.
Which are you defining as the latest? The one where the police were involved?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think it was right for the policeman to shoot him?
What do you think?
I think he was.
Why?
Because if he hadn't shot him, he would have shot the police, wouldn't he?
I suppose if we take it to the level at which it, or if we allow it to go to the level to which it did go, then that might well be the status quo. But it probably wasn't necessary to get the... It probably wasn't necessary to get the situation to go that far. The police knew the raid was taking place, and they could have interceded beforehand, could they not?
But then he wouldn't have got the evidence what they needed, would they?
Well, they wouldn't have got the evidence, but in order to get that evidence, it would appear that they had to put individuals' lives at risk. And given that the job of the police force is to prevent crime, then surely they should have done that. They should have prevented the crime rather than allow the crime to take place or get nearer to taking place and put lives at risk.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, when
let us assume, and it's only an assumption, but let us assume that that policeman didn't quite get it right. Let us assume that he fired his weapon a split second later, or alternatively, as does happen even in the best laid plans, let us assume that the weapon he fired didn't go off properly. It does happen. Or alternatively, the bullet, when it arrived at the person, didn't do the damage he expected to do, and the person shot the security guard. Now, okay, the man is still a murderer for killing the security guard, but it's no consolation to the security guard's relatives that their relative is dead, and the police could, without any major difficulty, have prevented it. Given that the police's job is to prevent crime, surely they should do that first and worry about the evidence later.
Yeah, but what happens if it was went to court? It would have got thrown out.
Fine, it would have gone to court, it might have gone to court, it might have got thrown out, but their job is to prevent crime. Their job is not to put innocent citizens' lives at risk, and that is what they did. They said these Group 4 security men's lives, they're going to be used as bait in order for us to get an arrest. Well, fine, but they're using them as bait, they're putting their lives at risk.
Yeah, but, like, it worked, didn't it?
Well, yes, but we have to consider whether it is the right decision. Retrospect is a great way of finding out, but if that security guard's brains had been splattered all over the windscreen, the rules and principles will have still been the same. It worked, didn't it? Is no explanation, and indeed is no justification for any course of action.
I would disagree with you. I think it would. Because, like, what would happen if they got away with the money?
But they wouldn't have got away with the money if the police have interjected beforehand and prevented the crime. They wouldn't have got away with the money.
They wouldn't have gone up for trial neither, would they?
Indeed, they wouldn't have gone on trial for theft because they weren't going to go to trial for theft because there hadn't been a theft. However, they clearly had taken part in a conspiracy, otherwise they wouldn't have all got there at the same time. They clearly were going armed for criminal activity, and there clearly was the opportunity for them to be prosecuted successfully with the evidence that was there, and if that were the case, they could then be banged up for a reasonable length of time. So there was a potential to put them in prison, and the police decided to go for the bigger crime of armed robbery. Fine, that's a very honourable thing for the police to do. It's just fortunate, and it's only fortunate when we consider some of the police records on firearms usage. It's fortunate that the security guard didn't get blown away. Anyway, we've got to end the programme right now, so thank you, Brian.
Okay.
Cheers, good night. A Scouser that can talk sense is a rare occurrence indeed. What a way to end the programme. If you want to join us, you'll have to wait till 10 o'clock tonight. Mike's next. See ya. Ta-ra.
The 2 o'clock news, this is Mike Carson. Police have been describing their horrifying encounter with a man on all fours who snarled and then attacked them like a werewolf. One officer had his face clawed by the crazed 43-year-old man after he was cornered in a yard at Southend Police Station. Simon Israel reports.
Police say it was like something out of a Hammer horror film. Just after midnight, a girl ran into the station crying for help. When one policeman approached the man outside, Inspector Tony Belford says he began acting like a wolf man with incredible strength.
His lips turned out, he bared his teeth, and he clenched his hand like a claw, and started thrashing about. He made growling noises and snorting noises.
Half a dozen officers fought to cage him. A doctor had to be called, but it needed a double dose of a powerful sedative before the man was calmed down. He's now being treated in a mental hospital.
The Home Secretary Douglas Hurd will today examine new evidence that casts doubt on whether the right people were jailed for the Guildford and Woolwich pub bombings. The information comes from a powerful delegation headed by Cardinal Basil Hume and 2 former Home Secretaries. Richard Bestick reports from Westminster.
Sentences of up to life imprisonment were given after the bombings at Guildford and Woolwich, where 7 died and 88 were injured. But an hour-long meeting between the Home Secretary, Cardinal Hume, and former Home Secretaries Merlin Rees and Roy Jenkins may have succeeded in opening up the cases again. Mr Jenkins and Mr Rees both know the details from their term of office, and their new evidence is quite clearly being taken seriously indeed. Richard Bestick, IRN, Westminster.
Kent Social Services chiefs will today consider an appeal from the owner and matron of a Gravesend rest home who've been kicked out. The pair deny allegations that they were neglected elderly mentally disturbed people in their care. Janet Wyatt reports.
Udham Singh Patel and matron Anne Baines are appealing against deregistration, saying they weren't present at the hearing and strenuously denying the allegations of neglect. They're promising to reopen the Haven Rest Home, where they say residents felt safe and happy. Their lawyer's statement stresses neither of them has been arrested. A post-mortem's revealed one elderly woman from the Haven died in hospital of septicemia and pneumonia. Another 2 women are now in hospital. The other residents have been transferred to council-run homes. Janet Wyatt, IRN, Gravesend.
Members of a Chinese trade delegation have politely told their startled hosts that they can't allow themselves to have fun during a visit to Britain. Dave Newman reports.
To give the delegation a breather, officials laid on a tour of the secret tunnels and dungeons under Nottingham Castle, where Robin Hood was once held by the sheriff. Members of the delegation thanked their hosts, but asked for the agenda to be changed, because as representatives of the Chinese people, they felt they should be working rather than enjoying themselves. They got their way. Instead of the dungeons, they toured a factory making aluminium cylinders. Dave Newman, IRN, Nottingham.
Independent Radio News.
Thinking of changing your hi-fi? Call into Lang Video Audio at Crumpton Street, Wigan, and Knowsley Street, Bolton, the North's leading part exchange hi-fi specialists. Ring Wigan 323 897 for details now.
Glandon Motors, Peugeot, Talbot.
Glandon Motors, Lancashire's #1 Peugeot dealer, announced the special E-Edition Peugeot 205 Junior, the car with everything and nothing. Everything like white colour scheme, denim upholstery, rear wash wipe, reclining seats, 5 doors. And nothing because Glandon Motors are offering you 0% APR finance on this exclusive car. Ask for written details or call now. Glandon Motors, Blackpool Road, Preston. Phone 735 811.
Glandon Motors, Peugeot, Talbot.
On a sign by a house, there's a message and a name you should know. The message says for sale, and the name shows the way to move home. The name is White Gates, and that means action!
Tomorrow's kind of estate agent works fast to get results. With Whitegates, Red Rose sellers get red-hot service, and you pay nothing until the property is sold.
When the sign says White Gates, you're on the way to a sale. Deal direct with Direct Windows.
Direct Windows, the best way to buy UPVC windows and doors in Lancashire. We install the superb Bowater Halo system, and all work is guaranteed and underwritten at Lloyd's of London. Buy direct, avoid the middleman, and make hard cash savings. Visit the new factory showroom 7 days a week at 64 Red Scar Estate, Longridge Road, or phone Paul Kelly on Preston 703 008.
Deal direct with Direct Windows. Direct Windows.
And the look at the weather. The morning will start cloudy with some drizzle, but dry weather will move south as the day progresses, and sunny periods can be expected in some areas this afternoon. The temperature, they should rise to about 20 degrees Celsius, although it'll be a little cooler on the coasts. Good morning and welcome along. It's Mike Day with you from now until 6 on Nightline.